What's going on, guys? It is Tom and welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new episode of my MotoGP Rider Career Mode here for the Moto3 Championship. And we've only got 6 more races to go now in this season, so 3 more episodes for the Moto3 season. And we're going to kick things off today at Misano, and then we're going to move over to Aragon as race 2 of this episode. So without further ado, let's jump into Misano for qualifying. Right, here we are then, Misano, the track where I made my debut last year in the Red Bull Rookies Cup, and it's all come full circle now as I'm now here for Moto3 and hopefully moving into Moto2 very soon for next season. But I've got a few offers on the table, so we'll have to see what team I join for Moto2. But right now, we're going to jump into qualifying to see how far we can put our bike for the grid. Currently half a second down through the third sector. I haven't played in a couple of days actually, so I'm a little bit rusty, so this is my first lap back, so I just need to get a feel for the bike again. But I can definitely notice I haven't played this for a few days, almost a week actually, so I need to get back on top of things here and try and find some pace. But I think the first lap's not going to be nothing spectacular as we come across the line, and it's only just off position, so actually not too bad. We've actually pulled one out of the bag there through the final sector, as scruffy as that was. We've actually got some pretty good pace, so I think we can actually bag pole here if we actually hook up a lap quite nicely. Okay, this could definitely be the lap. I'm 4/10 up in the middle, in the third sector, should I say. We've only got one more sector to negotiate here. I've had a nice little turn from a couple of bikes behind, so we've only got one more corner to negotiate. And here we go then, final corner, good run through there, unlike last lap. And here we go then, we're going to run out to the line. This should be first place unless absolute catastrophe. And as you can see, 1.2 up there, brilliant pole lap. And that is going to finish the job there for qualifying. I think that's going to be a pole position for Misano, so nice qualifying session there, and getting the feeling back on the bike straight away, and the bike feeling absolutely ridiculous around here as per usual. Okay then, pole position at Misano, and as per usual we've got Dry Mir and Canet in second and third, and Finati in fourth. The usual suspects, as you guys already know, people like Belega, for example, the championship leader in P6 there. So overall things are looking pretty tasty for the race, but overall a very good qualifying, and we're going to have to fight for the usual suspects to try and pick up the race win here at Misano. And if you want to try and get for the World Championship now, 6 races to go, we need to start picking up a couple of wins to really close the gap on Nicolo Belega. So without further ado, let's jump into the race.
Everything ready to start at Misano. The rider's really focusing, because making a strong start is key here. You don't want to lose places at that initial chicane.
Right then, here we go. 5 red lights, or 4 red lights should I say, and there's going to be lights out and away we go for Misano. Let's try and get a good start here, use the new start technique to try and defend ourselves as we go into turn 1. Everyone's going to try and go up our inside, so I need to try and take an aggressive line into the first corner, and there we go. We've cut past anyone that's going to make a move on us, and now we're going to switch back underneath Mir and Canet and hold on to first place as we swing it now through turn 3. Can I keep it flat out? Yes, I can. And there we go. We're going to hold on to first for now as we filter through into the end of the first sector into turn 4 and turn 5, the double apex right hand is a very tricky section as we're going to try and keep our bike pointing in the right direction and try and escape the pack a little bit and try and set some early pace up front to really put the gap between myself and the guys behind. Okay, so Belega is now the man into second place. He's had a great start from 6th all the way up into 2nd, so he's already trying to hunt me down because he's going to want to extend his championship lead. And just like in Silverstone last time out, he has some ridiculous pace, and if he's got a sort of pace around here again, then I'm in trouble because he was absolutely ridiculous around there. Like, he cut through the entire field and ended up winning the race, so we've got to work out here to stay ahead of the Italian rider in what is pretty much his home race here at San Marino. On to lap 3 now. Belega is still in 2nd place, but he doesn't have the sort of pace he had at Silverstone, and I'm the man who's got some ridiculous pace around here, so let's try and keep on extending the gap here. But right now I'm doing a good job of keeping everyone behind, and I've got the pace to defend myself, and unlike the last couple of races, I'm running the medium on the rear, so I'm not making any sort of tyre compound mistakes. So we're going to try and make this one work here and try and bring it home, unlike the Saxon ring, which was pretty much a disaster if you really take into account how much of a lead I had on that soft tyre. But really doing a good job so far of keeping Belega behind me, and hopefully we can try and extend that gap over the next few laps even more. Okay, Belega's just started to pick up the pace, and he's dragging the pack along with him, so that is a worrying sign for me. And there's only 6 attempts to drift, so one mistake and he could be straight on my inside just like that. So I've got to be very careful now on this lap, and once again try and focus on extending the lap as Ertul, the man in 3rd place, testifies up. So there you go, that confirms that they're really going pretty quick behind me, and they're using the slipstream to overtake each other as now Belega re-overtakes Ertul in the bottom left. So it just goes to show those guys are sort of like almost relaying each other to try and catch me up, and they're going at a really good pace to do so. Okay, I really got my head down. That was a really good lap from me, and Ertul and Belega are constantly battling, so that's allowed me to really get a gap out to those guys. I didn't say the fastest lap of the race, but it was just a good pace lap, and those guys behind were battling pretty heavily. So their constant sort of intertwining and like relaying each other for slipstream has actually cost them time, as now Antonelli seems to be getting in on the action with them. So I've got the gap out now, 2 laps to go, and I think as long as I don't have any critical mistakes, I've got this in the bag. In the end, it's been a dominant performance, and we've absolutely smashed the field, and we've pulled away quite a bit in these last few laps, and we've got one more corner to negotiate, and that is the final corner, and there we go, out of the final corner, and looks like we're going to win the race here at Misano, and another race victory for the kitty, and that's a big race win that we needed, because with Belega getting a really good win last time out, we really need to bounce back there and get the gap a little bit narrowed up at the front. And as you can see, Belega came home in P3 in the end, with Antonelli in P2 and Ertel in P4. And I mean, you have to wonder, look at the KTMs. I mean, that's surely a good bike to go to. And maybe for Moto2, I may have to consider KTM as a possible option, as they are one of the top teams if they offer me a contract. But overall, that was the race here at Misano. We're now going to move into Aragon. Okay, here we are then at Aragon, and this is a track that I've not been looking forward to. I actually don't mind the track, it's actually pretty decent. It's a real challenge, but my pace last year was pretty poor when I came in the Red Bull Rookies Cup, and I qualified last, even though I was half a second off the pace, and I fell off in the race. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think we have to try our hardest to get a good result, but hopefully we can try and turn this around and get a good result. But right now, hopefully I can try and get a good qualifying, but we'll see how it goes. I am, but I'm not looking forward to it. It's a very mixed one here for me, but without further ado, we're going to jump straight into qualifying. Right, my pace seems to have improved compared to last year on the Red Bull Rookies bike. I'm only 3/10 off in the third sector. This should give me a bit higher up in the grid compared to the Red Bull Rookies bike, but we've still got one more corner to negotiate, which is the final corner. That's how much speed I can carry into here. Being really aggressive, running it really wide to try and bring the nose back in for a late apex. Trying to spin the bike up the hill onto the curb, straighten it up, and here we go then. We're going to run it up to the line, and let's see where this that puts us as we come across the line. And what is it? It's still 1 point off the pace, so the final sector is pretty poor. I'm still 13th, which isn't too bad, but there's a lot of time to find there, and a lot of time to find, especially in that final sector. So hopefully I can improve at the start of the lap, and then hopefully I can recover the time lost at the end if I have a good rest of the lap. I've absolutely nailed this up. I'm half a second up in the third sector, so as long as I have a respectable final corner, then I should be much higher up the grid this time. I just don't know, I can't see myself getting pole because I'm just really poor in this final sector and final corner, but let's try and push it a bit more this time, using second gear this time around. Let's see if I can find a bit of a better line. Let's keep it nice and tight this time for the final corner. Much better line this time. Let's see if I've actually pulled it out of the bag. Again, losing a little bit of time over the curb, but here we go, across the line. Have I done it? Not quite. It's still 3/10 off first place, but the lap time is definitely coming down and I'm improving slightly, so I want to give this one more crack. But the thing is, my first 3 sectors last time around were absolutely perfect, so there's not a lot more time I'm going to find, I don't think, but I'm going to give it one last crack here. Okay, this is the one. I've just gone for the basically go for it, and if I fall off approach and have a bad crash, but I'm 1.4 up. Surely I can't lose it this time. I'm going to try and go very tight and narrow on the apex this time around and try and tap that curb on entry. I've got a little bit too much on the curb, which is not what I wanted, but I've taken a much tighter line this time. Let's see. Surely I can't lose 1.4 in that final sector. Come on, let's try and make this pole position as we come across the line. Will it be pole position at Aragon? Yes, it is. This time by 0.8 of a second, and that is what I'm talking about. Absolutely perfect lap. I couldn't have done anything any better that lap, except for maybe the final corner, but that was absolutely incredible, and that lap felt absolutely ridiculous. So a lot of things have changed from a year ago in Aragon, and look at the pace I've got. Now the question is, can I convert that pace in the race? But we're going to see how the final grid lines up for the qualifying results. So there we have it then, the qualifying results are in, and I'm the only man who dipped into the 159s, everybody else above 2 minutes, and Fenati getting a brilliant second place ahead of Canet, Mir this time down in P4, and Belega in P5, so and championship rivals down into more or less in his usual position there. So we're going to see if we can try and convert this pace into a race win tomorrow. We do have the pace here, and hopefully in the race there's no different. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the race.
In just a few moments, the Aragon Grand Prix will get going. The riders are clearing their minds because they know they have to give it 100% right from the off.
Right then, here we go. It's Aragon, front row compared to last year when I was right at the back of the grid. Complete difference, 4 red lights, and it's going to be lights out And away we go here for Aragon. Let's try and have a good race here. Fenati gets me on the start. Also, I think we've got Canet get me on the start there. I'm going to have to take the wide line through turn 1, which is not ideal, but we're going to have to stick to it. Then we'll have the inside line for turn 2, as also Martin gets by. I believe it's his home race, but filtering through now into this sort of the end of the first sector. Let's see if we can try and get a good run on these guys. We've got a double apex left-hander coming up, which I think I might be able to get a chance of making a move up the inside, possibly, if I get it on the brakes nice and late, and that's exactly what I've done. Nice move there. Squirting on the power a little bit too early, running out a bit wide. I was going to try and go around the outside of Canet, but just pushing a little bit too much there, and we're up into second place for now, as we go into this sort of very narrow right-hander, very awkwardly place, because it's such a long one that sort of tightens up right at the end. As we now go into the trickiest corner of the track, in my opinion. There's a few of these sort of chicanes on this track, the flip-flop chicanes, but this one is definitely the hardest, and I've got a nice run through there. Sort of got the switchback line, and I've gone past Martin, and now we're right behind Fenati. Can we try and pick him off possibly? We're just going to have a look around the outside, but there's no room through just yet. We're going to go over the crest now into the next blind left-hander. This is where I fell off last year by pushing it too much on the brakes into this corner, so I've been taking it with a pinch of salt this time round as we go up the inside, taking the curb a little bit too aggressively there, and Martin's going to just go around my outside beautifully there. So losing an hour position over the crest, running a bit wide there. Martin's going to make the move back up my inside. I'm going to have to pull the bike down, so I'm going to lose a bit of time, and we're going to go up the inside now, make the move work onto the back straight now, pick up the toe on Fenati. Let's see if we can try and stick with these guys and see if we can maybe go for a move into turn 1, because I know to the final corner I'm probably going to struggle. So let's see how this pans out. Here comes Martin once again, getting a good toe, and I want to see what sort of line these guys take to the final corner, because I really don't know what to do around here. I mean, I'm keeping up with them, you could say, so I'm doing it right, but in qualifying I just seem to be losing a heap more time for some reason. But either way, we've had a good run through there. We've got Mir and Belega for company here onto the pit straight. We're going to pick up a toe on Martin. Let's see if we can make a move into turn 1 and brake as late as I dare. First gear, just missed the apex slightly. Belega's going to make the move, and I'm going backwards here at Aragon so far, which is what I was worried about. But I feel more confident than I do last year in my ability to try and turn this around. So let's just try and keep it going here. I think I can make a move here up the inside of these guys, because they seem to brake a little bit. So going to go up the inside of Mir, possibly on the brakes, make it work, and then just pick off Martin, pick up the traction on the exit, acceleration, good speed, but Martin just matches me there. And this time I'm going to try to take a bit more of a normal line into this corner, nice and tight this time, make sure no one goes on my inside. And now we're going to go once again downhill into the flip-flop chicane, so let's just watch out for this one. Let's be careful here. We've got Mir up my inside, very aggressively making the move. I'm going to switch back underneath him, and also Martin as I pick up the traction, pick up the speed. I'm going to take a tighter line to get the inside of Martin. I'm just going to barge him off a little bit, let him know that I'm there, and there we go up into P3. So now we can go after Fenati, who's the man up ahead, and then try and retake the lead, I say, from Canet, who's the man in first place, as we go into this next left-hander. Once again, this time taking a much nicer, wider line, which is what I didn't do last lap and last year, and that's really set us now into like a pretty good position here to be right on the back of Fenati as we go into this next flip-flop chicane. Dropping it to first gear, squirting the power. I'm just going to go for it on the brakes here, nice and late, and there we go, made it move comfortably, and there we go, up into P2 now. We can now chase after Canet. Okay, Mir's just gone up my inside. I'm going to try and get him back though straight away. I've blocked off Martin, who was going to make a move up my inside at the chicane, and now he's just barged me out of the way. So if we're going to get the elbows out, I'm going to get the elbows out. So let's just let's settle down here and let's try and do what I've got to do. As I tap the back of Martin, just catch his rear tyre, and that's going to cost a bit of speed. But like I said, if you want to get the elbows out, I'll get the elbows out. As Canet is really starting to stretch away, and I'm starting to wonder if I can actually win this race now, because he's really pulling away up front. As I got the inside of Martin beautifully there, that's what I'm talking about. I'm going to take a much more wider and nicer racing line through here and get nice and close to Mir, who's the man ahead of me, and I've taken a much better line into there, which is going to allow me to just launch one up the inside. But Mir cuts back underneath me beautifully, to be fair to him, and we're going to have to settle for P3 for now as we go into the back straight. And this is very simple. We'll just pick up the toe and wait for the chance to strike. Obviously the final corner, we know what happens through there, but can I get him into turn 1? That would be nice. But let's take a nice tight line this time and sort of follow what they do, see if I can maybe learn anything from them. I'm going to wait a little bit on the throttle. I'm going to hold back a little bit, try and take a bit more of a nicer line, and just going to curb a little bit too much there, which is going to cost me time to Martin. I'm just going to block him off, make sure he doesn't make the move, and that is going to be us still in P3, and as Martin goes for a last second lunge up the inside of turn 1, which he still managed to pull off. He matched me on the brakes and he still managed to get the apex, unlike me, so that just sums up how good these AR riders are when it comes to braking. But here we go then, through here. Can I go around the outside of Martin? Possibly. Yes, I do. Lovely stuff. And that's a great move actually up into P3 once again. And we're going to now go into this sort of swooping left-hander, pick up the traction nice and early, and try and hunt down Mir. And let's see, I've got one chance of getting connected if I nail the rest of this up and get past Mir straight away. Okay, squirting on the power nice and early here. That's going to get me up the inside of Mir through this next right-hander. Going to run it a little bit wide, sort of cross out of his path. I'm going to run out a bit wide, unfortunately, so Mir's going to get back up my inside. But we're in the mix now. All we've got to do is just brake nice and late for this corner and see what I can do on the braking here. As I pull it in a bit late, I've made it work though. I've just turned in a bit too early through there. Mir has overtaken me. So good little battle between us two here. As long as Belega doesn't make a move on me, then I'm okay for not wanting to win the race. I just need to make sure Belega doesn't finish ahead of me here. So as you can see, we've got a nice gap to Martin behind. So the battle's going to be between me and Mir on the final lap of the race here. And also maybe if I can catch Kenneth, if I have a beautiful final lap of the Grand Prix. But here we go. I've got a nice run on dry Mir and easily gotten past him because of the straight line speed. And we're now going to go into the final corner, but Mir just re-overtakes me just like that. I'm having none of it though. I'm going to try and match him, force him. There we go. Squirt it on. And there we go. We've made it work. And we've held on to P2 for now. And the question is, as we go into the last lap of the race, is Mir going to dive one? Yes, he does. He goes up my inside even before the brake zone. I'm just going to take my sort of normal line as I just catch the curb, which isn't ideal. And that's going to allow Mir to get back past once again. So I can't seem to make a definitive move on dry Mir, which is sort of frustrating me a little bit now. So let's see if I can keep a nice run through here, carry a nice bit of momentum up the hill, and then go up the inside here through this section, which is exactly what I've done. Nice move there on the curb a little bit, which is a little bit dangerous, but we've made it work. And now I've got the rest of this lap to try and floor it and pull away from dry Mir. I need to nail this lap if I want any chance of winning this race. I've caught up substantially to connect in that final sector. I've had a really good run just through the entire third and fourth sector. All I can do now is pick up the toe and see how much I can gain on this straight. But right now I'm a bit far behind and I don't think I'm going to be able to make the move on this. I just left it a bit too late to try and catch Martin as we now, Connect as we go into this final corner. And I think Connect's going to take the race win for the first time in a while. And I'm going to come home for P2, which is a fantastic result considering that Belega's probably a little bit further down the order. So P2 at Aragon, and a much better race than last year at the Red Bull Rookies. So that's just a great positive all round and a really good result. And Belega gets P4, so there you go. We've gained a few more points on him this race, but hopefully we can sort of say that we're in the title fight. We've got 4 races to go after this, and we should be around some 15 or so points behind Belega. So the title fight is well and truly on. The question is how many riders are in the mix, and we're going to find out in a moment's time. But overall, those were the race results for Aragon, and we're now going to move into the Drivers and Constructors Championship. And looking at the Riders' Championship now, we've dropped down to P3 after Canet picked up the race win. So he's going to go up to second place, but we are 22 points behind Belega. So we're slowly catching back to the top of the pack, but we're going to need a race win or so in the next 4 races, 1 or 2 race wins to really get ourselves right back in the mix. But you could say right now the fight is between the top 4. Ertl just seems a little bit too far away to be in the mix for the championship. So the fight is probably the top 4, and that's going to be the battle for the World Riders' Championship. And looking at the constructors, KTM are the outright leaders with Honda very close to the back of them, and to be fair, I'm not doing too bad from a Mahindra, not too far behind, but just a little bit too far behind, I think, to make any sort of challenge, and Peugeot still on 0 points. But overall, that was the race here at Aragon, also Misano previously in the last race, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed this sort of double header episode with 2 races once again, and if you did, then a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated on the video, and also if you subscribe to my channel for future content like this, and also F1 content, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But I thank you guys ever so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.